Hi guys and gals, welcome to Rauta's July 2019 Ask Me Anything AMA, that is answering your questions, dear viewers, you have been sending me lately. This comes, I know, pretty soon after the previous ones, which I think I already answered in June, but since you quite soon after sent me another batch of questions and even more interesting than the last time, I decided like, what the hell, let's just get them done and over with and reply to you because it seems you're interested in my opinions and interests and whatever. And I think this is one of the better AMAs, at least questions wise. Don't know the answers yet though. So let's get it going. And I have something like 7 questions here. Already the beer is open because I'm actually doing this in back to back with the Tuska 2019 uh, review or report, which just came out 2 weeks ago. So let's start with the beer. First question is very interesting, and it goes like this: if you could develop about how we support you, not only money, but if you need graphics / animations for your videos, for example. Now that's a really good question because obviously there's always some kind of a lack of resources when it comes to creating these kind of videos. No, I haven't been asking for money because I think it's kind of a lame. I understand that YouTubers, influencers, whatever, do that because everybody has to make their living. Well, I have a quite nice day job. I love what I do, so I'm not asking for money. But obviously, money would help when it comes to Rauta traveling to different places outside Finland. So what is that money that we would be using then? How could you help me instead of money? Well, let's assume that Rauta would actually go to festival outside Finland. Uh, Accommodation, offering us a kind of a bed to bed to sleep when we're traveling to some other city. That would be always help. Making food, whatever, that would be also helpful. Covering travel expenses, that would be even more awesome. But like I said, I'm not asking for money. Actually, I'm not asking anything except for feedback on all that stuff. But what other ways? Well, what we usually lack is the proper gear. We have like one good setup, but it's outside cameras. Cameras we have plenty, not me personally, but then again, I don't need better camera at home than this webcam I'm usually using or my smartphone. But when it comes to sound quality issues, you probably noticed them at Steelfest 2019 and some other times. Um, Better microphones would be better. So I don't know. But like I said, I'm not asking for money and I'm not expecting anybody to send us used second-hand microphones or whatever, hand mics or whatever. But that's actually what we need right now, especially that we have basically like 3 different camera people, and sound issues are the ones that we suffer the most from. You might remember mystical marine Malaysian interviews, and if you haven't checked them, you know what I'm talking about. When it comes to graphics or animations, they would be great, but I don't think they're that mandatory for Rauta videos. I think they would make these videos so much better. I mean, if there would be laughing Fenris head right there, or smirking Varivikernes head right there, or I don't know, some grim ass black metal artist doing weird faces or pointing fingers at me. I don't know. All these graphical elements might be really nice to think to have, but they are not mandatory. They're actually extra for their videos or whatever. Yeah, that pretty much sums up what we might be lacking. Uh, what I would mostly need, what I would like to go with Rauta is that we could actually expand outside the borders of Finland and go different festivals because that would mean different bands which are not even available in Finland. But unless you're working with a travel agency or you want to drive a car like a maniac from country to country, and unless you were coming to your city and you have a big apartment and no, you're not your girlfriend or boyfriend is annoyed, offering a place to sleep, really cannot expect that from you. But you wanted to know how you could help me out or help the crew out uh, to get the channel things better. Well, those are the things: gear and traveling. The second question is also, what have you been your favorite concerts and fests you've been to? Well, this is kind of hard because I mean, I have been going to fests for almost 25 years now, and it's really hard to pick one of the best ones or my favorites. And that is because I mean, those who just saw the midlife crisis video I made a couple of weeks ago, I went through that how things were different when I was like 20s, like seeing the bands for the first time, especially if it was like big band like Slayer, Sepultura, Metallica, and that's time. I mean, like I was 17, so that's more than 25 years now. When I saw Metallica for the first time, and I think it was kind of a mind-blowing experience because I was a little kid. I barely had more than a few tapes. I was totally, listening to all over again. So obviously seeing Metallica being my number one band back then, it was a big thing. Also seeing bands like Pantera back in '94, that was really, really a big thing because, it was a big band and I really liked them when they were doing that kind of stuff. Then again, seeing bands like Slayer and Nile playing at Wacken 2003, that was also like superior. That wasn't my first time seeing Slayer, but seeing it Wacken versus in Finland, I mean, big impact. Also seeing Dark Throne, or what I can call a Dark Throne show that is mostly Satyricon, but in the middle of Satyricon show there is like 30 minutes of Dark Throne with Nocturno Culto and the Satyricon crew playing songs from albums like Under Funeral Moon. I mean, that was boom, just awesome. I also remember when I saw Mysticum for the first time and light show. I was a little bit on Sweet Leaf back then. I really enjoyed it. Kind of a hit in my head, having being kind of a stone, and the gig was played there with this majestic light show. It was simply super. Then again, there have been weird gigs which are special for other reasons, like Blasphemy for the first time. There was some sexy things around that things. It wasn't maybe just for the gig, but some hot action. So my point is, there's so many different gigs and different reasons why they are great that it's kind of hard to pick any kind of absolute favorites. But at least those are some of the best. So some of the Black Flames of Blasphemy, rest in peace. Vacan Trips, Steelfest gigs, some of the Tuska experience. For example, I think Gorgoroth played at the first Tuska 1998, and seeing Emperor in 1997. Things like that are were a big thing, really. So lots of good memories throughout the years. Rammstein in 2005, which changed my opinion totally for the band. So there's not a single gig, not a single fest I would just put above the rest, but rather a big amount of different fests and gigs that have made a kind of a lifelong impact on me. Hope that answered your question, though. The question number 3: where would you want to go that you haven't been yet? Well, Moon, Mars. Seriously speaking, when it comes to festivals, there are lots of places and fests I would like to go, like Maryland Death Fest, for example. If this question was more about countries and cities, I would have to say China and Japan the foremost, because never been there, and I have been into Asian cultures for a long time. Actually used to train Kung Fu for 8 years, so China has definitely something magical in my opinion. And the history and the war experience, I mean, The Art of War by Sun Tzu and the history of war. Well, this goes beyond Rauta, but I mean, Far East. I've been in Vietnam, but that's it. Far East in general would be a great thing to experience also Australia and South America, various parts. Too many places, really. My long time dream is to visit every country in the world. I know it's kind of impossible considering that I'm 40 plus already, and it's not like I get money out of heaven like that, and I don't have all the time in the world to do that. But if I had all the time in the world, I would definitely visit every country at least for a day, more if possible. I would visit more festivals and big gigs in different places, different cities, meet people from various countries, talk about them, about the local culture, metal or otherwise. So, kind of hard to say, but Moon and Mars, they would be totally awesome. Question number 4. How many CDs do you have, more or less, Rauta, in your collection? Have you bought vinyls and or only CDs? Well, to be honest, I haven't been buying vinyl for over 10 years. I had vinyl player, but I never actually played. Back then, my stereo system wasn't good enough. They didn't actually have the amplifier back then. This is like early 2000 something. So I basically never listened to LPs or vinyl in general. So it kind of was unused, kind of some second-hand vinyl player. I tossed it away and never touched it since. So I haven't been buying vinyl since that, early 2000 something. But recently, like 2018, I had a vinyl player, but I haven't bought any vinyl because I have gotten some for review, which I have collected or saved the best ones, and the rest I have just given to my bandmate. So more about CDs, but to be honest, I haven't been buying CDs either for a few years, and the reason is this: I get so big amounts of CDs for review that I barely have. I don't even have the time to listen to them. Actually, I can say barely have time to listen to that, and so basically I collect both, but collecting is wrong word because I'm so picky. I would say roughly my CD collection is between 6 and 700. I know it's not that much. Some people are expecting me to have like 3,000. The thing here is I have reviewed something like approximately 4,500 to 5,000. So imagine if I have less than 1,000 CDs all in all. What I have done with the rest? I've sold a lot. I have given a lot. I've discarded a lot. So I'm really picky, so that's why my CD collection or vinyl collection isn't that big, and I don't have any tapes. I just keep giving them away whenever I get sent them. So yeah, I'm really picky. I don't buy CDs barely at all anymore. Every now and then, if I find something really interesting and which isn't sent to me as a review copy, then I do that. But really, really rarely, as I don't have the time to actually listen to those. But I have small, you should buy this kind of list. So there you have it. Hey bro, this is not metal related, but can you send me your workout routine? This is the question number 5. As I know, I can send it to you, but I can link it to below. I have been doing the Jim Wendler's 5-3-1 workout routine for quite a bit, actually more than any other programs. Obviously, I change my workout routine every now and then. Sometimes I might be doing like, I don't know, 6 months that, 2 months that, and then 3 months something else. Or then I'm just like switching between hypertrophy and powerlifting routine. I know I'm not like really big, so maybe I should do more hypertrophy, but I'm more into, doing those kind of powerlifting routines, less cardio and more, those short rep sets. That is, few reps, more intensity, and all that strength training. So I can link that, at the basic idea, so you can go from that. Question number 6. What non-metal music do you enjoy? Now this must be one of my all-time favorite questions because obviously sometimes people think that I just listen only to metal music and that's it. Well, some of my collection is actually about soundtracks, movie, TV series, or games. And by games I mean video games. Because What I enjoy a lot is that kind of a, I wouldn't say neoclassical, but something in that direction. Movie or game music in general, they are very much hand in hand. Basically the same idea, but there's some differences as well. But I do like when the soundtracks play big, majestic music. It goes to heights that no metal music usually can reach because there is not such level of orchestrations, which I tend to like. I mean, I'm kind of a sound porno fan. Um, that is, it doesn't matter if you're a really good drummer or if you're good with violin or percussion, guitar, or even trombone. If you're good at it, I might enjoy it a lot. So soundtrack music has been a big part of my music listening since, well, I don't know, more than 20 years anyway. I rarely buy those CDs anymore. Usually when I go for soundtracks, I usually go them through Spotify or YouTube. But I used to have them and buy them quite a bit, and I still have many of them. Another big genre for me is dark ambient. And by that I mean the music without any percussion, any vocals, any riffs, melodies, or whatever. It's kind of a anti-music which just goes with the atmosphere. The more terrifying, the darker, the better. I mean, it's supposed to be really dark. It's oppressive, scary kind of stuff. Some are more soothing than something else, but I mean, in general, I'm not gonna want to go uber dark. I don't even play metal music. I want to go darker into those deep caverns and dungeons where my imagination is running freely and getting scared. So it's not like always like horror movie or music or whatever, but it can be really, really dark and scary stuff. And then I have something weird skeletons in a closet like Depeche Mode, Ladytron, and the like. Some rock and roll too, but to be honest, rock and roll has very little to offer to me what metal music doesn't. I mean, of course, there are some hard rock albums which are not exactly metal, but kind of a metallic. So I don't think that it really counts. Soundtrack music and ambient, that it is what I'd enjoy besides metal. The last question, number 7, is, hey Rauta, who is your top 5 bands to see at a festival, your dream lineup? Now, if I can take this beyond the bands that are still alive and kicking, and I could imagine my like all-time bands which I would like to see, and this would be a little bit easier because I would like to see bands like Person, I would like to see Darkthrone, I would like to see Death, I would like to see Pink Floyd, and probably something else which I just can't think of like that out of blue. But most of these bands are obviously goners. It's not like I can do that. So if I had to be realistic, what I would hope for, I would have to basically think of in a in a different ways, because I wouldn't probably enjoy death thrash, um, black kind of a hybrid gig. I'd probably pick 5 for the black, 5 for the death, 5 for the trash. But I don't know if that would actually make that much of a sense. I've seen most of the bands which I enjoy, so I probably would pick bands that I haven't seen yet or which I have seen only once. So I wouldn't, in that term, in those terms, I wouldn't, go Slayer. I mean, I love Slayer, but I wouldn't pick that because I've seen it many, many times. Same goes for bands like Anthrax and Wasp, one of my all-time favorites. But rather I would have this kind of a dream lineup where I could see bands that I haven't seen more than once, or not even that. Bands like Origin, haven't seen them once, and I just love what they're doing with their very technical death metal. And obviously, like I said, I would love to see Death, but that's kind of impossible. It could be kind of a Death cover band with some Death originators. I've heard that those kind of shows have been played. I would probably pick one of those dark ambient bands to see, because that would be totally different. And why I would pick Pink Floyd, because I think it's one of the greatest bands ever, and their Pulse live is just mind blowing, especially if you're on the Sweet Leaf side. So what else? Don't really know, man. Because the thing is, and now I'm just staring at my record collection. If you're wondering what I'm staring at, and the thing is, I'm trying to figure out which bands I would like to see more than others. Because, like I said, I've seen bands like Rammstein more than once. No, I wouldn't pick that with Dark Throne to play anyway. It's really hard. I would probably have to force myself to take in a kind of a certain genre by genre. For example, I would like to see Violence, even if it's not one of my favorite bands, but I would probably enjoy it a lot playing live, or bands like Atrophy, yet another thrash metal band. I would love to see Mötley Crüe back in the 80s or 90s. I would love to see Skid Row from the same era. Would I love to see them now? Probably not, as it would be a kind of a disappointing. So it depends how wildly I can allow my imagination go. Graveland, seeing that would be still probably very very nice to see them again. Same I think I could say for Absu. Would I like to see Ildiarn show? Probably not. It probably wouldn't be that good. But there you have at least some ideas. I know I couldn't properly answer your question, but at least you have now some ideas which I would like to see and for which reasons, instead of just like listing you 5 bands with no sense. But Origin, that at least is realistic to see, so I hope to see that one day. So maybe my dreams will come true. That's it. 7 questions answered in way too lengthy manner. My bad habit, I know. If you have any more questions, if you have any more opinions, please shoot me with them, and I will make another AMA video for the fall, I hope. The sooner you send me, the sooner I will make it, and that's it. Feel free to ask me anything. It's most likely I won't decline anything you will be asking. There might be some things which I won't answer, but then again, probably not. So anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for asking, and take care, drink some good beer, and listen to some good metal. See ya.